I swear to God, I am not doing this a 10th time. I had mechanical problems with my phone. My 3-month-old brand new phone don't want to take videos anymore, and I can't find out why, because Motorola customer service for the mobiles, well, that ends at 10 p.m. Doesn't say which 10 p.m., just 10 p.m. Either way, it's past 10 p.m. here, and I'm screwed, because that's what I would like to be using. I'm back on my laptop, which is fine. I love it. I would like to use it, but months ago, I tried to upload videos from it, and YouTube was like, you don't have the right number K. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks, because I'm poor, and that means I had to go out and buy new stuff, like a phone that's 3 months old and don't work, that I still have to pay for. Anyway, let me see if I can get through this. A couple of days ago, I wrote a WordPress piece called Bridges. And I didn't include all of the bridges that I was talking about in there because I knew I wanted to come on here and talk about it in person, so to speak. So the bridges I'm talking about in the piece are not really like brick and mortar type bridges. They're relationships. And so the one that I didn't speak about there that I'm going to speak about now, it belongs as a companion to the piece. So one thing I said in there was that, excuse me, I said that a bridge's span can be centuries long. And I was referring to something in particular. And if you want to know what that is, I would suggest that you go read the piece. So anyway, the long span that I'm talking about right here and now is, well, a little bit of background. I would call myself a professional single person, not by choice. I've seen some channelings where the people who are channeling, or the beings being channeled, talk about people who are solitary, and that's just the course their life takes. And I hear it a lot of times and I think, well, some of that applies to me, but not all of it. And I don't know if maybe that's like denial because I don't want it to be true, because that's certainly a thing. But the evidence of my life would suggest that's the case, because it's not like I'm a virgin by any means, and it's not like I've never been with anyone, but the maximum time I've spent with people, and that hasn't even happened very often, is 3 months. And it's always been sort of an opportunistic situation. Well, I'm not going to say I wasn't being opportunistic too, but I wanted to like actually seriously pursue something with someone. Like, that was the opportunity I was after. What I found was that I was the opportunity being like used and abused, basically. I mean, I hate to say this because it sounds terrible, but it really was like the situation. Like, for years, from my teens to my 20s, I was like a pump and dump for people. And or like if I was with someone for a few months, the thing that I ran into over and over was they'd be cheating, or else I'd find out that they were cheating, and then they'd accuse me of cheating, or they'd accuse me of cheating. I've never cheated. I've never cheated with anyone because it sucks. Every time it happens to me, it feels like my guts are ripped out. So like I don't know. I don't want to do it to other people because I'm mad. I don't know. That like other people would do that. It seems like I've met those people over and over where they're like mad at someone else, and you just have like the female parts and they take it out on you, and like that sucks because I want to get something pleasurable out of it too. You know, I don't want to be your avatar for your crap. That feels terrible, and I don't know. It's not what I'm handing out, and that's not what I want to be given. So, but anyway, like when I was young, in my teens and in my 20s and whatever after that, at home, because I left home like around my 30s, But all of the normal sort of, relationship stuff that people would have and intimacy stuff like that wasn't happening with me. And I talk to my friends all the time, and it'll come up and they'll be like, "Well, when I was 19, we were having sex with everybody, weren't you?" And I was like, "No, did you?" Like, no one remembers that they never saw me with anyone. But that's an indication of my popularity. So, that was kind of how it was when I was back home in LA, in Hollywood, in my teens and 20s. And I didn't enjoy it. And it's kind of extended throughout my life. And so it gets a little frustrating and like, it like undermines your confidence to keep trying, and like having situations like the ones I mentioned, which are not entirely fulfilling. Like, you get something out of it, but it's like all of the other stuff you get kind of makes it not worth your while. I don't know. It's not a great thing, but there have been like 5 to 10 year spans where I've just been like, I'm not going to interact with people in that way at all. And I didn't. And it goes back to those channelings where like, you're going to be one of those. There are people that just like, no one really wants to be around you unless they want something from you, but otherwise they leave you alone. And boy, that like hit home, because that's so much how my life is. But okay, that's what I got going. That's what I got to learn from. But finally, something changed, and now that I'm like almost 3 times older than these guys. Guys in my 20s are interested, or guys in their 20s are interested in me. And I'm like, cool, good. It's about time. I'll take it. So, anyway, this weekend, I'm in my kitchen and I'm making spaghetti sauce at 6 in the morning. So what? And I hear what I think is knocking at my door. And I rarely get visitors whatever day of the week it is, but never on weekends. And I hear what I think is knocking, and I'm like, well, no one comes here, and all of what I just said, like, there's no reason for me to think that it was my door being knocked on. And there's, 3 other doors right out there, so it often sounds like I have gone to the door and it's been somebody else's door being knocked on. So I didn't even want to stop what I was doing, but the second time I heard it, I was like, I better go look. And I thought, there's only one person that just shows up and knocks, but usually the person I'm thinking of knocks like a cop. And when he has done that, I have jumped out of my skin, thinking they've come to get me, and then gotten to the door and found out it was a guy that I had met on a dating site, because 3 summers ago, that's what I was driven to. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, I gotta get some. I'm losing my mind. I'm like a feral person now, and I'm, not socialized, but I gotta get some because that's part of my problem. So I tried a few, and then met a couple people here and there, and then the last one I tried, I met 4 different people that I actually met up with, and then 2 that I stayed in contact with. So one I'm in, I guess, a fight with, but he's on my mind a lot. And I was had been visualizing things that I wanted to happen between me and this person. And then last weekend, let me just stop myself, because I want to talk more about the visualizing. Like, there were a lot of steps. It was very intricate. Like, there was a lot of detail. And I had said, the night before this guy shows up, I was like, okay, like, I always have to hear about people finding their person. If I can't find my person, can I find a person? And the next day, here's this guy shows up at my door. And he's from the last dating site that I'd gone to 3 years ago. And he and I actually have an arrangement for him to basically show up and service me when it's convenient. Because he used to live in town, but now he lives up north in Seattle. So, I mean, he has a car and I don't, so that makes a big difference. But he's terrible about phones, even though we've exchanged numbers. He either forgets to use them or he gets a different phone or I've gotten a different phone. So since we have this arrangement and he knows where I live, he does just show up. And he came in and we did, like, without even talking about it, okay? We did, like, everything on that list of visualizations, even though I was thinking of this other person that I met from the same place, who's on my mind a lot. Damn it. But it turned out to be this other guy, which is good, because, well, they both have their positives. But what it has to do with bridges, in the piece that I wrote, I talk about how a bridge can have a centuries-long span, referring to a specific thing. But if you want to know what that is, please go read the piece, because I'm already talking about something else. But it does have to do with the span of a bridge. And the bridge is from me in my 20s, where nothing was happening, where it seemed to be happening with everybody else, with relationships and love interests and things like that, to now, where I'm way no longer in my 20s, but I have men in my 20s that are, like, kind of enthusiastic about spending time with me, and that is a closed circuit for me. That is a bridge, span, connected, and that is mainly what I wanted to talk about. I wish I didn't have to, like, go all personal with it, because it's kind of embarrassing. But hey, did you know YouTube originally started out as a dating site? I actually saw that on something else I was watching on YouTube, which I think is funny and interesting, because there's so much different a entity than a dating site, you know. Pardon? So, okay, finally, hopefully, like, it'll go up on YouTube this time. Got that all out of my system. Thank you. Thank you very. Oh, I guess I screwed myself up. I wanted to talk about this poster behind me that I made. Forgive me, forgive yourself. And it says other things like, well, I had up there on it, why can't we be friends? And I was quoting, I hope, and quoting and not paraphrasing Rodney King when he said, can't we all get along? And why can't we be friends, which is from the song by War, why can't we be friends? And then my own thing was, you know, if we're all having a hard time where we reach a breaking point where we just can't even anymore, I feel like when we get there, it's the time to remember, hey, you know what? Everybody else around us, no matter what we may feel about them and their ideology or presentation or whatever the thing that can be separated by, we can be separated by. It's like when you're all broke down like that and you just can't even anymore, that seems like the perfect time for me for us to remember, like, everybody else reaches this point, and all I want is for us to be able to give each other a break. And I feel like in those moments where we're just broken down and too tired to keep up the, you know, aggressive defense or offense, like, everybody gets those. Like, we all reach our breaking points. And so that's what that's about. It, you know, let me read it. I keep getting my stupid chair tangled. Just a second. I just want to quote it right. It says, it can't hurt to give someone a break when you need one too. And I really feel like that. Like, who's there to see? Who's there to hear if you're just in your head going, oh my God, I just can't take it anymore. I would just love so much if a little inkling of the idea of, oh shit, that's happening to everybody else too. But I wish that would seep in, because I feel like it would give us so much ability to better deal with each other, because we're not doing that too good lately. But I don't need to talk about that. There's plenty of Karen channels now. Okay. I think that got all I wanted to say out. Do I want to say more? I finally found something to do a new Spirit TV on, because my attention has been all over, and my concentration don't have any really. It's bad. Yeah. I don't like being this scattered. But I did finally find something that I could spend some time watching, and then I can study on it, and I'm going to be coming back with another video for my Spirit TV, and it's going to be great. Okay, so hopefully this will go up on YouTube. Thank you, and good night.